Hey guys, how's it going? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. I'm with my dad. We're jeeping around, so to speak. So we just got done going to Lowe's. I'll show you some pictures down below. Walking on in, seemed like they didn't really have too many more different items or things that were on sale for killer deals than they did from our typical walkarounds. We did see some cool things though that I thought were of good value. There was the sawhorses, right, with they were only like 30 bucks. I was just telling my dad I bought some on Amazon. I think it was close to 100 bucks for the pair. They're $30 a piece over at Lowe's now. So I thought that was a pretty reasonable deal. We saw the air compressor. I think it was, how many gallons was that? 60 gallon.
60 gallon two-stage.
3.4 horsepower. And so it seemed like it was actually, well, it seemed pretty good. And this two-stage thing, can you go into that a little bit? Why a two-stage over what you would call a one-stage, and what's the difference there?
Well, the two stages, you got your compressor, which is one unit. Second unit is your motor, so i.e. two-stage. So what I like about them is it's not all in one unit, and if something goes wrong with one side or the other, I don't want to say all the time, but most of the time it's repairable without having to replace the entire compressor or, you know, that particular unit. So I was telling Justin I had bought one in Ingersoll Rand, which is the one that I have at home, which is a large two-stage. And, you know, I did the top end on it, all new seals, everything, and the thing works like a charm. And then the motor, if the motor was ever to go out, I could simply just unbolt the motor, find another one on Craigslist, or even buy, you know, a new motor online. There's lots of places, even Harbor Freight sells electric motors. And you can put another one on there, and if you've got one that's underpowered, you can put even a higher horsepower motor, because 60 gallon, you know, will do good. You just want to make sure your compressor is compatible with it. But to me, they make all the way around, I mean, the best, rather than these all-in-one sealed units. And people have problems, then they figure, well, they're gutless and they have all these issues. It depends on what you're doing.
Right.
Job site, pancake compressor might be fine. You might just have a little spray gun. It's totally fine. I mean, these pancake compressors.
If you're going to run an air tool for an extended period of time, be it an impact gun or a die grinder or even a paint gun, you're not going to want to use a pancake compressor or like a 22 gallon compressor for that kind of stuff. It's going to bog out, or it's not going to work at all. Then of course condensation builds up, so then you have to deal with the water in the tank and then possibly mixing it with your paint while you're trying to spray. It's just not, overall it's not a bad way to go, to get something bigger that costs you more the first time than have to go back and buy something again after you already bought something to find out the hard way. We did get a chance to see the Metabo cordless drill in action. I think that was what we saw.
Yeah, that was cool.
Pretty fast, went right through the piece of wood, no problem.
It's a nice drill. Dad's gonna throw together a little video here, and I'll put a video clip right now. Let's go ahead and take a look and just see how fast this thing is. Gonna be trying out the Metabo HPT drill, 18 volts, just see how it does. I'm curious. Woo. Well, that got there somewhere quick, didn't it? So I thought it was pretty quick for what it was, and I've seen a lot of demonstrations where people have used drill bits to go through 4x4s or even 2x4s stacked, and I thought this was actually pretty quick for what it's worth. And I think, and I'll put a picture down here in the corner if I have it, I want to say it was 150 bucks for the unit with a battery. My dad's going to go into more detail with some of this stuff, so I'll put his link down in the description. Check out his channel where we did the walk around, and he'll actually go through and show you some of the deals that we saw in there. Now we'll just jump forward real quick to the toolboxes. We were looking at Craftsman, we were looking at Cobalt. Right.
I was actually pretty impressed with the Cobalt one, though a little bit too small, nothing that I would personally use because I don't have a need for another box right now. Lord knows I have enough. But I thought the metal quality was a far better quality than that of the Craftsman. We did see some flexing in the handle of the metal. The drawers, when you pulled them out, did seem to be a little bit thin. But if you go over to the Craftsman one, you're not getting much better. The depth isn't there. They're still running with the 18-inch. And in fact, I think my dad has pictures and video clips that he'll share with you that even the top was, what was it, 15 or 16 inches for the top in width. If you have a 16-inch laptop, you've already can tell how much depth you have for the top surface of that chest. Overall, I just don't think there's a value behind that box.
We took measurements. You'll see.
We did.
Yeah, there's a tape measure.
Mechanic sets, they had mechanic sets for days. You guys know about those. We've talked about those in the past. I was telling Dad how impressed I was with the fact that because he had made the comment, Craftsman being what it is, it's worth it, and maybe not to a mechanic that uses it every single day, but for DIY or weekend warrior, he saw the value behind it. I told him I was actually pretty impressed with the overall quality in comparison to the Icon stuff that I've tried out, and that the durability seems to be there, and I think that the Icon stuff is a bit overrated. I don't know that they're actually going to get any better. We'll see, time will tell. I haven't talked to the guys at Icon in a little while. I was actually kind of disheartened when they stopped contacting me, but I know that they can get busy too. Maybe they're thinking about their strategy and the types of metal they're using. I was really excited for the product, especially during the launch, maybe even a little bit overzealous and too excited to a certain point, because yeah, I was excited for this new quality product. There was a lot of hype behind it, and I was behind the wheel, and I'm all about, you know, getting a good quality tool at a fraction of the price, especially since they were comparing themselves to Snap-on. But obviously time tells all, and the quality just wasn't there. We did end up going to Home Depot. I did see the DeWalt toolbox. It seemed to be of a pretty good quality, and the metal seemed to be there. I didn't really see too much flexing in any of the drawers or anything like that. Was there anything that stood out to you at Lowe's or Home Depot that you were impressed with, or that you had thought about possibly picking up?
There are some leader items on the end aisles, okay? I did a video about them, these, you know, the ratcheting clamps and stuff like that. It's what they entice people to buy, and you can get for $10 roughly. You can get 4 of them. That's about $2.50 each, 4 in a pack. That's cool. I mean, if you need them for lower dollar stuff, okay? Toolboxes, I mean, like he said, I mean, they're not made out of the thickest gauge, but if you're a home DIYer and you're not a mechanic or a technician, they probably would do you totally fine. There's lots of tools, lots of tool sets. We didn't video a lot of that. It's the same stuff as far as I'm concerned, over and over again. So I didn't do that. I mean, we just kind of captured the Metabo, and we captured, you know, like he said, like the Cobalt, the Craftsman, and some of the things that maybe you don't see all the time that you might want to consider. I mean, take a look at the videos, see what you think. We're
both kind of the same exact mind. You know, we've done these walk arounds, and don't get me wrong, from time to time they're really enjoyable to do because you got a chance to actually see what's new, what the latest and greatest technology driven item or new gimmicky thing that they've come out with. But it does get a little bit dry. I think we both kind of get a little bit bored from time to time with sharing almost the same exact thing. So unless there's really any kind of content value behind it, I haven't been posting very many videos and doing walkarounds a lot. I like doing them once every so many months just to kind of keep the ball rolling and see what else is new. And if there's something that stands out to me, I don't mind sharing it. But you know,
I throw up deals. Sometimes it's not tool related, sometimes it is, sometimes it's in electronics, sometimes it's in woodworking stuff.
Oh, I love the woodworking stuff. That's cool.
That's a deal, I mean, or is a decent bargain. I mean, I'll put it out there. The thing where I get a lot of stuff is people will go, well, I bought it and I don't agree with you. Well, that's fine. You don't have to agree with me. I'm telling you the ups and downs before you go buy it.
You know what I like
with those pancake compressors? There's nothing wrong with them as long as you understand what their capabilities are, and you don't expect like you're going to run air tools like some people do. And I read it in the comments. This sucks. I don't like this. You can't even run an air tool. This thing just overdoes it, and they go on and on and on. Well, it was never meant for that. Okay, so in my videos, I just try to let you know if that's what you're doing, then you want to shoot for something better and higher. So
that's what I enjoy watching, like your channel and even Vince from VCG Construction, is because as a mechanic, guys, I deal with mechanic tools all the time, and I see them day in and day out. And I have tool trucks, which some of you probably don't have, and it can be exciting for you guys to see new stuff that comes out on the tool truck, even if you don't have them available. But for me, it's not as exciting because I see them all the time. So that's why I usually jump over to like my dad's channel and check his out, or I go over to Vince's channel because they're using different tools. Where my dad might do a welding video or woodworking video, I could see what he's using. Where Vince is doing framing and construction and finish work, I can go see what he's doing and how they hold up for him as professional, for professional use. And then for my dad for home handy use, and like what you can get away with getting and what you can't. Because we were talking about this too, and I want you to chime in on it, but we actually were talking about how like some items you're going to end up spending very little on and wish you bought the expensive one. other items you're going to spend a lot of money on, unnecessary kinds of money, and you realize you probably could have gotten it cheaper elsewhere, and it would have held up for just as long, if not longer.
That's true. I mean, I buy Whiteside router bits. Other people, they'll buy Black & Decker or some real lower brand, let's say, and it works for them. I think that's fine. Maybe they do 2, 3, 4 signs a year or something, but when I was doing a lot of signs, I want the higher quality steel, and I want the ones that are sharper and the ones that are a better product. So I'm going to pay more for them. Boom, done. I mean, that was my choice. Your choice is, hey, I'm only going to make a few things. Well, then you can get by with Ryobi. You can get by with Black & Decker or whatever, you know. That's fine. Cutoff wheels. I buy cutoff wheels from Harbor Freight. I buy them by the pack. I buy a Diablo. Are they better? Yeah. And it depends on what I'm doing. I buy Benchmark abrasives off online. Now, they're not the top of the pyramid, but they're not Harbor Freight, but they're damn good. So, and then, I don't want to say you're brand loyal. I tend to go with what I know. And everybody feels different. And what is your usage? If I'm a mechanic, well, then maybe I don't want Black & Decker tool sets, okay? Maybe I want Matco. Maybe I want the higher end. Well, that's fine, because that's what you do for a living. You're going to use them all the time. We were talking about this. Let me give you one more example. I'm on my feet all the time in what I do. I don't buy cheap shoes. Now, you could go to Payless and you could go to Big Five. I chose not to, and I paid way over $100 and some odd just for a pair of shoes. And I have special inserts. I'm on my feet 12, 14 hours a day. And so I want the best of the best, okay, in that, because that's what I do for a living. But if I'm just somebody that's kicking back and I have a desk job, then you can go to Payless or whatever you want to do and save all that money. Yeah. So it's up to you. I mean, spend the money wisely on what you feel is going to be the best for you in terms of tools.
I agree. I mean, it's I'm not at the hospital for 12, 14-hour shifts. And sometimes you're there for that or sometimes longer, right? And for me as a mechanic, it's not to necessarily the extreme, but my feet do go through the same exact process of getting beat up and picking up heavy stuff and stomping around on cold concrete for hours on end. Before we go, I want to show you guys a joke, okay? Let me put it down here real quick in the video clip. Let it roll. Are you kidding me? $80 for Black & Decker anything? Are you guys smoking something or what? So I cannot believe that they are charging this kind of prices on Black & Decker. Fucking $80. Are you kidding me? Black & Decker is garbage. This stuff is the stuff that you would get for your kid to pretend that they have a tool to use. I would never buy Black & Decker anything. But look, speaking of the holidays,
I wouldn't do that.
We want to wish you a Merry Christmas in case I don't get a chance to say it on Wednesday. And for every homeowner with a Christmas tree or even an apartment, get you a fire extinguisher, okay? Because stupid stuff does happen, and last thing you know, you're calling for a fire truck, and you know the time responses. These guys get busy, especially around the holidays. $10 at Home Depot. Just pick one up. It's for electricity, wood, plastic, and everything else. Okay, just pick one up, 10 bucks. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That's all we got for this video. We'll see you guys next time. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Deuces.
Bye-bye.